Hi Sagittarius, thanks for joining me. This is your horoscope for October 2016. It's really nice to be with you. On the 1st of October, you have a new moon happening in Libra, and that happens in your 11th house. Now, I've made a separate video on this, the new moon in Libra. Check that out if you're interested and you want to get in-depth information about it. But basically, it's when the moon is next to the sun and it is charging itself, it's warming itself up. So it's getting ready to start its new monthly cycle. And to do that, it pulls energy in. In this case, it is pulling in Libra energy, which is all about building bridges between the self and other people, relationships, beautifying things, making things more harmonious within the community. And that happens for you, Sagittarius, in your 11th house. And the 11th house has to do with friendships and social networks, but also on an abstract sense, your hopes and dreams in a way. So take 5 to 10 minutes during this new moon and say, what is it that I would like to see happen in the landscape of my life when it comes to other people? Do I want to expand my social network? Do I want to have more people as a resource? Do I want things to look more harmonious and more positive? Do I want to, have a couple of people in my life who are entertaining? You can actually focus on what is it that I want. And I don't think we're talking enough about this. Some people have groups of friends which are really funny and hilarious. And sometimes it's like, well, did these people just meet at random? Or did these people attract funny people because they're funny themselves? Or they've deliberately attached themselves to people who are funny? And that's just an example, okay? But we really do have an influence in the types of people we hang around. And when it comes to hopes and dreams, what bridges can I build? What can I implement this month in October to take me one step nearer to achieving my hopes and dreams? I.e., what are my hopes and dreams? So it's a really good time here at the beginning of the month to reflect on what you want and what your direction is. On the 2nd, the moon is still in Libra, but it begins to oppose Uranus and Aries in your 5th. So all of this may be interrupted by your partner or by feelings of romance, because that's going to make a lot of noise here on the other side of the chart, and you'll want to focus on romance and love and connecting with people in a much more personal and intimate way. So look out for that. There's no right or wrong here. It just depends on what it is you're looking for. If you're wanting to solidify your friendships, and maybe you've even had troubles in your friendships, and then you're saying, yes, we'll meet up, we'll have a coffee, we'll catch up, and then on the 2nd, your girlfriend calls and says, hey, let's do something instead, and you ditch your friend. That's not helpful. But, if you're not working on friendships that much, if you're free to do what you want, if you're into romance and you focus on that, it's important though to know what's coming up so you can make choices and you don't leave yourself in a position where you let other people down and you make things worse. On the 3rd and 4th, the moon goes into Scorpio, and that's in your 12th house. Now, it sits right on top of your midheaven in Scorpio, your Venus in Scorpio, and your Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. So there's a real sense of diving deep now and connecting with spirituality and really understanding what things are about, rather than just doing things arbitrarily or without thinking. So when it comes to your work, when it comes to what you love, when it comes to the things that you may be a little bit deluded about or ashamed about, all of those things will become very clear. And if you ask these kind of questions, well, what is it I'm supposed to be doing for work? What is it that I really truly love? Around the 3rd and the 4th is the best time to ask those questions, because it's very likely that you can find the answers within yourself. On the 5th of October, the moon now goes over into Sagittarius, and it conjunct Sagittarius, which is Saturn in Sagittarius. So both of these go into your sign. So what you feel on the 5th is a sense of the future. Where am I going? What am I doing with all of these things now that I've discovered them? And how am I actually going to implement these changes? On the 6th, Mars, the planet of desire and war, that is in your 2nd house in Capricorn. It begins to conjunct Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, which is also in Capricorn in your 2nd. And they conjunct, so they sit right on top of each other now until the end of October. So this is an energy that's going to be with you for the whole month. What's also on top of those two is the rising, which is in Capricorn. You're the person, you're the sign of the zodiac that really benefits most from this conjunction out of all of the signs, because this is in your second house, which is a very practical sign, in a very practical sign of the zodiac. So if you put your mind to it, if you decide to work at something, you can really make a ton of money in October. Not think about it, not plan to make it happen, not maybe in the future take a course so that it can happen at some point. You can actually do it in October. So if you work, if you choose something, remember the 3rd and 4th, when you discover the things, what is it that I love, what is it that I can work on, if you then take that information, you start to implement it and you start working on it, you can really truly transform your financial situation in 1 month and change the way your life looks because of this ability to work, and to work in a focused and specific and consistent way throughout the month of October. So please use that opportunity. If you're someone who really struggles, really think about what is it that I'm interested in. That's the way this will be presented to you. Then over the 3rd and 4th, then honor that idea and say, yes, I'm interested in this. I'm actually going to do it, and take a risk. You'll notice and you'll realize quickly that you're onto a winner here, and you'll start to see finances come in really quickly and easily. On the 7th, the moon is still in Sagittarius there in your first house, but it's jumped over Saturn and it's beginning to trine Uranus in Aries. So again, you're being distracted by romance, by your partner, by your loved one. You've got a lot of things going on here that you want to implement. And again, it's important to prioritize and to get clear on what it is you want to be doing. Do I want to improve my relationships? Do I want to make money? Do I want to improve my friendships? And if you have a specific area of focus, then do not allow yourself to be distracted, and have clear boundaries and say, sorry honey, but I'm making money today. And that may not go down well, but if that's what you're if you're planning and it's important to you, then it might be important to explain it and say, I need to make this money. I think I've got a really good opportunity and I hope you can understand that. And then really be clear about what you're doing. On the 8th, the moon goes into Capricorn and it sits on top of your Mars and Pluto. So I'm telling you that for the month of October, you're really going to have this ability to create abundance and prosperity. On the 8th, when the moon goes into that sector, that is when this energy is at its strongest. And on the 9th, because the moon is still in there, and it's the first quarter moon, so it's building up to becoming a full moon, it's squaring the sun, so there's a real sense of anticipation, and there's the ability to reach other people and to actually implement all of this work that you want to create. Libra, think of Libra as like a bridge to other people. So if you're making money, if you're selling a product, if you're pitching designs, if you're selling stories, or if you're launching a product, you will need people to reach so that you can make a business out of this. And the 9th is when that really, really starts to happen for you. On the 10th, 11th, and 12th, the moon goes into Aquarius in your 3rd house, and these 3 days are the best days of the month in terms of communication. Communication in the sense of, I want to reach an audience, I want to advertise, I want to know people I exist. Okay, so you can communicate throughout the month well, but when you're looking at reaching people who don't know you just yet, strangers, a new demographic, a new audience, these are the 3 days to approach those new audiences. You also have a T-square in the chart, which really gives you a sense of motivation, in the sense of, I understand what I enjoy and what I want to be working on. I'm going to implement these things in a very practical, concise way, and I can see the future opening up to me as a result of my work. So there's a kind of, it's almost like there are 2 things happening at once. On the one hand, you're plowing away at something, you're being diligent, you're working very hard, but at the same time, you have this sense here that with each stroke of the pen, or with each hammer and nail you put into the piece of wood, with every second that you're working, you're getting nearer to this light at the end of the tunnel, which you're subconsciously aware of all the time. So keep the goal in mind, put it to the back of your mind, and then trust that you're moving towards it through this work, and you will. On the 13th and 14th, and I'm going backwards here, 13th and 14th, the moon is in Pisces, and that's in your 4th house. So it connects with Neptune, the South Node, Chiron in Pisces in your 4th. These 2 days are great for family. If you do want to spend any day with family members, or you want to make time for family, these are the 2 days to do it. On the 15th, the moon goes into Aries. That is in your 5th. And now, actually, this is the time for romance and to take a break from these other things that you're doing. And if you do want to spend time with your partner, do it on the 15th and 16th. The 16th even more so, because it's the full moon in Aries, it's the hunter's moon, and that Aries energy is really showered onto us, and in your case, it's the 5th house of romance. So you will have a desire to spend time with your partner, to connect on a physical level. It's also a good time if you're single to start a new relationship or to go on dates, and you'll really be focused. Everything you do in October is like, oh my God, I've got to do this, and then I've got to do this. You're really, really pushy, and you're really focused, and you're really like, I'm doing. So don't expect to snooze for the month of October. You're really going to be very empowered and strong and moving towards the end goal. So whatever it is you choose to work on, expect a lot of energy to support you in helping you get there. This is a very productive month for you, Sagittarius. On the 17th, the moon is in Taurus in your 6th, and it creates a grand trine in the chart in Earth. Again, this is a wonderfully gifted and talented time for you to make money and to achieve your working life goals and aspirations. On the 18th, the moon moves on, and it opposes your midheaven and your black moon Lilith in Scorpio in the 12th. It's much easier for you to continue to focus on work than it is to focus on disappointments of the past, arguments that you need to resolve. And I think on this day, something dark will come up to distract you. Don't let yourself to be distracted. Focus on the work. While you have this steam and energy, use it. Don't let yourself be distracted. On the 19th, the moon goes into Gemini. Great time to communicate. Especially, it's almost too much of a good thing because you're going to want to communicate with everything at once. Again, priority-wise, work and your personal focus, that is the best thing to communicate about and to focus on. When it comes to family and the demands of family, that could again derail you a little bit. So just enjoy that with caution. On the 20th, wow, okay. 20th, we've still got the moon in Gemini. It now trines your sun and your Mercury in the 11th. And this is a day when totally different. You want to spend time with friends or to realize your hopes and dreams. So it goes back to the beginning of the month where we did have the new moon in Libra, and it's all about how can I progress? How can I build bridges? And this day almost feels like I'm not striving towards it anymore. I'm there. I've done it, and I can enjoy my success. On the 21st, Mars begins to Mars squares Uranus, and this is another long-term aspect. Mars squares Uranus until the 4th of November, so 2 weeks pretty much. Mars, remember, in your second house, driving you to succeed financially. Uranus giving you that sense of drive, but in a different way, totally about love and romance. And not even romance as such, but like lust as well. Because that's totally different. It's like I want, I need, I crave physical contact. And that is what you're like this month. You're really like, I want, I need, I'm pushing towards. I would suggest you're going to have the most success still at work. And this is the last week where you've got that initial Mars-Pluto conjunction. So for this last week until the 28th, use that and focus on work. On the 22nd, Venus begins to conjunct Saturn in your first house, and this is another long-term one. It lasts until the 4th of November, and this is, I love the path I'm on. I love what I'm doing. I'm practical, I'm getting there, I'm doing it, and I love what I'm doing. So this is when your own sense of contentment and pride really comes in and lifts you up even more and says you're doing well. Pat on the back, pat on the shoulder, keep going. So this, with that said, this week from the 21st until the 28th is totally when you should be working. It's also last quarter moon here on the 22nd, so the moon is winding down now. So there isn't that frantic energy of, oh, I'm going higher and higher, higher. It's kind of like things are slowing down a little bit and getting calmer, and you can relax. Also on this day, it is the day the sun moves into Scorpio, so happy birthday Scorpios. And on the 23rd, the moon begins to trine Saturn and Venus in your first house. This is really good for travel or education or learning. So travel in a physical sense, if you have to go anywhere, it's really fab for you. If you want to learn something, sign up to the course today, or research courses. If you're thinking about what should I do, I want to study something, do a little bit of research around the 23rd. You'll really be fired up by something, and the 24th to some extent as well, because the moon is still in Leo. There's lots of fire, there's lots of passion. So you'll be able to hone in on what is it that I'm passionate about. It's all about having more understanding and then being able to act on that information. On the 25th and 26th, the moon goes into Virgo in your 10th house. Again, this is a very, very good day to do the mundane, boring paperwork, the real, actual, practical signing of contracts, writing of checks, starting of, registering businesses with company house, launching product, doing all of the paperwork, the concrete stuff that leaves a paper trail. The 25th and 26th are the best days for that. And the 27th to some extent, especially when it has to do with work and making money. Stock market, investment, playing the stock market, 27th of the month is the best time for you to do that. On the 28th and 29th, the moon is in Libra. It's in your 11th house, and this is another throwback to the beginning of the month, where it's all about realizing your hopes and dreams and broadening your social circle. You feel very good at it, at this now, and you're coming to the end of this whole focus, and you'll have come a long way with this already in October, and now it's almost like you can enjoy the fruits of your labor. And things will have expanded, will have grown, will have developed, and you can keep going and enjoy how far you've come already. On the 30th, the moon goes into another new moon, so this is really rare. It's like having two full moons in a month. When that happens, the second one is called a blue moon. When that happens with a new moon, the second one is called a black moon, and that's what we've got here. We've got a black moon in Scorpio in your 12th house. So again, setting intentions, planting seeds for the next 30 days. Look at what you want to achieve in a spiritual sense and what spiritual truths you want to get. You've already discovered a lot about yourself in this month, but what else can you get out of these hidden depths that you can then act upon and really make real and realize and manifest? That's a really important question, because you've seen how far you've come in October, and when you do the same thing in November, you can really celebrate that. Finally, we've got Halloween here on the 31st. The moon in Scorpio joins Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio in your 12th house, and the veil is thin. If you want to communicate spiritually, if you want to, connect with the occult or something like that, if you're interested in the magical side of things, this is a great time to do it. Really is. So I hope you have a wonderful October. I hope this has given you an idea of what you'll be working with. If you'd like a private reading with me about your career or your love life or anything at all, get in touch with me via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab and you can order your reading with me there. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you next month.